So today we are working on this beautiful brand new, actually it's a 1-year-old Volkswagen Golf R. It's in for a paint enhancement and a wheels off service as well. So we're going to remove the wheels, clean them and coat them inside out. No ceramic coating on the paint, however, but the wheels we're definitely going to put a ceramic coating on. And guys, if you're enjoying videos like this, and I hope you are, consider subscribing and clicking that bell so you don't miss stuff. So as we look at the wheels, the brake dust is always bad on these Volkswagens and Beamers. Something about their pads and rotors. Yeah, a lot of heavy buildup. So we are going to clean these inside and out and coat them inside and out, as well as the caliper. And anything that's in there we'll also clean out since we'll have the wheel off. It'll make it easier to clean. Now the paint, of course, is I call it a flat white because there's no pearl to it. It has a little bit of swirling. It's not bad, but it has a little bit of swirling that the customer wants reduced. So we're going to focus on that. Of course, the pillars are always bad, so those need to be polished. And the interior, oh yeah, not bad at all. So some light cleaning in here. Mostly, it's going to be protection. We're going to put coatings on all the plastics and leathers. So let's get started with the wash process. So the soap we're going to use today is Shine Supply's Shift. So this can be used as a ceramic maintenance shampoo as well. It's a pH neutral shampoo, however it has a lot of surfactants in it that help cleanse the paint. You don't necessarily need a high pH cleaner all the time because we're going to be doing our APC rinse, which is the high alkaline cleaner. So the shampoos, a strong shampoo is not necessary for us. So we have it mixed up here in our MJJC foam cannon. Let's get to pre-washing. Now our wash process pretty much starts out the same way each and every time. We either pre-rinse or not, depending on the temperatures and the filth of the vehicle, and then we move on to our pre-wash. Basically foaming on some sort of an APC or a degreaser, letting that dwell. It softens up all of that junk and road grime, and then we blast it off with a pressure washer before we even touch the paint physically. Next we foam it, and then contact wash. And since there's two of us working so quickly around the vehicle, it doesn't matter if we do wheels first or not. So usually we focus on the body of the car, and then I move on to the wheels as wifey is going around rinsing the rest of the vehicle. So we have our own process. What's your process? There's no right or wrong answer. It's really just based on your efficiency and your methods. What do you like to do first, and what do you like to do last? Let me know down below. So the vehicle is cleaned, deconned, dried. Let's take a look at the paint to see what we're dealing with. The one thing that I did notice is the swirls are bad down here. See that? That's just typical wash marring. That should come out pretty easily. The hood, not really that bad at all. It's kind of hard to see. There's little stray things here and there, so not bad. Paint enhancement will definitely clear any of that light stuff up. Oh, those are terrible. Yep. Interior is nice and clean, and we're going to protect all the leathers and plastics in here as well. And we'll figure out what product we're going to use at the end of the video, so you'll see that. So what we're going to use is a product from Lithium. It's a new product called Itch Batter. It's a funny name, awesome product. We're going to use that with a Lake Country orange pad, and let's see what results we can get. Now, we're also implementing a new pad cleaning system, and you know, I love blowing them out with air. That does clean them out really nice, but I did learn that can prematurely damage some pads. However, we've been using these orange pads for, I don't know, probably 5+ years. We have some of them that are like 5+ years old, and I've always cleaned them with air, and they work just as fine. So I don't know. I think some pads, air can cause damage, not all pads across the board, but you can use a pad washer like this. This is great for compounding and polishing, cleaning out the pads in between each section. So we'll kind of play it by ear and see if we need to use this, or if I'll just go back and just blow it out with air when it gets a little bit, congested with that. Now the polishing process was pretty straightforward and easy. The hood and the roof were really not in bad shape. It was the sides that we really had to focus on to remove those swirls. So we were using itch batter from Lithium Elixirs. So this is a compounding polish, so it has enough cut to be able to cut out those defects, and it can finish really well also. And using our Lake Country orange pads, they provide, again, enough cut, but also finish very well. And in some areas, we did have to go a little heavier and pull out our microfiber disc and actually compound those areas and kind of do a two-step in some areas, which was totally fine. This is a small car, and we focused on the areas that needed more attention. Now, you may be thinking to yourself, well, this is a paint enhancement. Aren't you only supposed to do a one-step? Well, that really just depends on the situation. With a small car like this, where it's just the sides that are bad, sometimes we'll simply go further because we can. We have the time to do so, and also the paint may be a little harder than we anticipated or worse than we anticipated, and we need to kind of kick up the combo to be able to get the results that we want. Sometimes our paint enhancement will be a two-step, but that just depends on the situation and how bad the vehicle is. So you'll have to determine that for yourself when you're working on a customer's vehicle. Every vehicle is going to be different, and every customer is going to have different expectations. So make sure to communicate well and don't go overboard, but still deliver your standard of polishing and your standard of services. So don't use tape arbitrarily. In this case, all I had to do was open the door, and I can polish these areas without using any tape at all. Work smarter, not harder, and don't tape arbitrarily. Now the interior was pretty easy to clean up, vacuuming, wiping down, and then treating all of the leathers and plastics with Dr. Beasley's Leather Lock. Now I'm going to move on to removing these wheels. Now I'm not a mechanic, so I'm not going to show too much of us actually going through this process, because I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people out there saying you should do this or shouldn't do that. Really, guys, it doesn't matter. I'm working safe and I'm using the correct tools in this manner. But enough about that. We're going to focus on these wheels, and you'll notice that I'm using the Source Garage wheel stands. I have two different versions here, one that I use primarily for cleaning the wheels outside, and the other version I use for coating the wheels inside. Both of them are great options. You don't have to have both of them, but since I do, I dedicate one for cleaning and the other just for coating. Sure, you could definitely make your own wheel stands or do whatever method you need to do to get these wheels cleaned and coated inside and out, but these wheel stands really do make things a lot easier. Now I also cleaned up the calipers and used a little bit of steel wool on the rotors as well to kind of remove a little bit of that rust, just so that when the customer hits the brakes, it's not going to send a plume of brake dust all over those beautifully cleaned and coated wheels. And yes, I'm also using a ceramic coating on those calipers. So the Volkswagen is now done and it is looking incredible. Just finished up the wheels. In fact, the caps I am going to coat with the same coating, just so they look good and they're protected. And we're using CarPro Deluxe, which is a trim and wheel coating. It's for both. So it's formulated that way to be like a heat-resistant coating and to be very, very thick so that it can provide some really good protection on the wheels and plastics. So all of those are done. They're all torqued back to spec. I am no mechanic, so I'm not going to show that type of stuff on here that much because people get weird about that. I'm not a mechanic. But what I do know is torquing these to spec. I looked it up, and it's actually 88 to 90 pounds. So I set my torque wrench to that and made sure these are all torqued down properly. All the calipers were cleaned, and I didn't go too crazy cleaning everything in here because it's going to get dirty again. I'm not, into cleaning all these areas because this is not a show car. It's a daily driver, but I did want to clean it up, and I just hit those rotors with some steel wool to get that brake dust off so it doesn't, plume all over the place when he first hits the brakes while he's driving. I'll address the tires later, but everything is now cleaned and protected, and it's looking incredible. Oh yeah, and the Source Garage things here really does help with the process when you're removing wheels. So this one I keep in here stationary, and this one I will bring outside to actually wash the wheels on. They are extremely helpful. Yeah, you can probably make your own or do whatever you want to do, but I love these. They're a great addition to the shop.